So I'm watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the very first time as a Zillennial who has been in and out of fandoms my whole life. It's actually quite stunning to me that I haven't watched Buffy yet because so many of my favorite TV shows are deeply influenced by Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I just wasn't aware of how active and passionate the fandom still was until I started posting videos about it. And so many of you have followed along for this journey. Thank you for joining. If you're new here, welcome. I have an entire Buffy playlist on my profile with all my videos so far, with my thoughts and feelings on the series. And we're just going to keep going from here. I'm kind of adjusting how I do the format of these as I go. Right now, I'm sort of chunking it down to a few episodes per video. I talk about my thoughts and feelings, and, we go from there. I'm also incorporating episode titles now because it's much easier for you all to know what episodes I'm talking about when I give them a title instead of just a number. Apologies for not doing that sooner. So without further ado, let's get in to episodes 11 and 12 of season 3. So season 3, episode 11, Gingerbread, really sealed the deal for me in hating Joyce as a character. I have not liked this woman pretty much since day one, but I've been trying to be fair and balanced and being like, hey, she's a single mom, she doesn't really know what's going on with Buffy, like Buffy withholds information from her, like give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm done with that shit. She pisses me off. Everything she did in this episode was inexcusable to me, and it's gonna take a lot of redemption for me to like her even a little bit. Because watching her insert herself into Buffy's life immediately fuck shit up, make life harder for Buffy, and have to face the consequences, and honestly endanger her and everyone around her by being stupid. But then we have to watch her gather the people of Sunnydale, rope in Willow's mom, who, by the way, is also awful in a completely different way, and watch them be so awful and turn against their children. Now, obviously, it does get to a point where clearly they're being coerced by these ghost children, and like it's kind of like a mind wash type situation. But I'm gonna be honest, they suck at a baseline. This is just amplifying their suckage to me. I could not even believe my fucking ears when Joyce got up there and in front of the entire basically parent-student body of Sunnydale tells them that this town belongs to the monsters, the witches, and the slayers. So you could have left that last part out. Why are we talking about this publicly? This is so dangerous for Buffy. I'm so worried. Here's the thing. At first I was like, oh, it's cool that like all these different people know kind of what's going on in Sunnydale. And now I'm like, I feel like the world is expanding too much now where it's going to be a problem. Like everyone's going to know. This whole episode had me so anxious between like the witch hunt and them ransacking the library, which made me so horribly anxious for Giles because I was like, wait, like we need those books. These are not replaceable. Like I have a whole thing. Book burning makes me so awfully upset. I was like, there's no way. Tying them, Willow and Buffy and Amy, to stakes like they're witches was the craziest thing they could have done. I did not know they were going to take it that far. That is absolutely wild. The entire like ghost children thing very much was reminiscent of Supernatural. Obviously Supernatural came later, but as a Supernatural fan, I'm like, this episode reminded me of Supernatural the most so far of all the Buffy episodes I've seen. So I really liked it, is what I'm saying. And I'm looking at my notes now. Okay, I'm wearing a Willow shirt. Let's talk about Willow. There have been hints up to this point that her parents suck and like don't pay attention to her, but really seeing that her mom didn't even notice that she cut her hair, and it had been months, was like, oh, Willow is neglected, like really bad. And watching her basically have to accept punishment from her mom, who is never involved, and like her trying to act out even more, was so sad to me. Like the situation with these kids and their parents make me so angry. I just need to say that. I've said it before and I will continue to say it. It makes me really angry. There have been also hints of like Xander's home life, and I'm like, what is going on in this town? Can the adults get their shit together? It pisses me off. Anyway, Some smaller notes I have, the quote from Angel, there's always things worth fighting for. Unfortunately, I do have to admit to you all that I am feeling a bit of softness creep back into my heart for him despite the atrocities. I'm so sorry. I am a sucker. So that's that on Angel. And then I'm just said there's a huge eye roll towards Xander and Cordelia in this episode. They're being fucking annoying, but it's okay. They're going through a breakup. It's fine. I do like the Giles Cordelia team ups though. I think they're funny. Giles is done with her shit, but also like she brings an interesting dynamic. I like it. I think it's fun. And yeah, I think that's it. Really good episode. Also pissed me off to no end. Really made me mad. So episode 12 is called Helpless, and this is Buffy's 18th birthday. And the theme of parents and parental figures suck continues. I don't know what happened to the writers of this show. They got a bone to pick with parents, though. They really do. Before we get into the 18th birthday of it all and how her dad sucks, and also Giles in this episode, incidentally, real quick, was Buffy and Angel, were they role-playing at the top of this episode? What was going on there? That was a little, I was like, oh, what are we up to? Okay, for sure. Anyways, moving past that, yeah, so her 18th birthday sucks, so fork found in kitchen, because it seems like anytime Buffy has a birthday, it sucks really bad. And she's really sad. Hate that for her. Her dad bailing on the ice show because he has some work thing, horrible. Her mom having basically no other birthday plans for her, extra horrible. What is going on? This is her 18th birthday. When she was asking Giles, or when she was like basically fishing for Giles to take her instead to the ice show, and he like wasn't paying attention, and I'm like, I genuinely thought it wasn't Giles for a bit there. Because what do you mean he was drugging her? What do you mean that was actually Giles? The reveal that that was some rite of passage thing with the council of watchers or whatever, and that it actually was Giles doing that on his own volition. I understand it's like duty, it's like tradition, he has to do it, it's part of his like contract. I understand that, but it felt like such a betrayal to me too, as someone who basically holds Giles up to these standards, and like he would do no wrong, absolutely does so much wrong in this episode. It makes for a very like morally gray, like, ooh, like I don't know how I feel about this situation, which I feel like this show does a lot, which is really interesting. Horrible though that it wasn't like, oh, this isn't Giles, you don't have to worry about it. It was, and he chose to do that, and the fallout from it is very real. I just, as an aside, I clocked David Hayden Jones like immediately. For my Supernatural fans, he plays a role in the later seasons of Supernatural. I saw him and I was like, he's a very small role in this episode, but I was like, British. He looks like David Hayden Jones, but like 20 years ago. I was like, is it him? It was him. Clocked him immediately. Anyways, back to the story. So her hanging out with Angel with no powers is really indicative, sorry, there's the word, indicative of how much she trusts him. So clearly they're really on good terms again, because that's crazy. Watching her be powerless though was quite awful. It was very Final Girl. It was shot like a horror movie. It's a very scary episode. I was not expecting this episode to be as horrifying as it was. Like, you're feeling like the horror movie vibes of like she's not safe, she can't really protect herself, she's weak, she can't trust any of her parental figures, and then she's completely blindsided by Giles. I wrote here, them both in tears when she loses all her trust in him being her only parental figure that she thought she could trust. Like, are you kidding me? Especially after what happened with her mom. I'm so stressed out for her. Like, she's only 18 and she doesn't feel like she can trust anyone. And the one guy that was supposed to be her watcher and now isn't, because he gets fired. Like, new watcher. Great, that's awesome. I feel really sad for her. The show does reach very depressing levels sometimes, and this episode was no exception. I hope there's a birthday episode in the future where she has a good birthday. Something tells me that's not going to happen, but I would like that for her. Anyways, I have to stop this. This is why I'm only doing 2 episodes per video now, because I'm almost at 10 minutes, so I'll catch you in the next one.